Manchester City's 4-2 victory at Crystal Palace. We'll have commentary of Arsenal at Brighton at 5:30, and then tomorrow, of course, we're live at Old Trafford for Manchester United against Liverpool at 3:30, sandwiched in between the Old Firm, Rangers Celtic, and Sheffield United Chelsea. But this is down at the bottom of the Premier League. Our referee Michael Oliver is just waiting for the say-so to blow the whistle as the players take to the knee. No room for racism. The firm message that is applauded from those inside Goodison Park, and we're underway. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. I'm sure you'll hear the wind rattling around off the effects mic on this blustery afternoon as Cullen lifts the ball early and forward, and then Berger will head it back as well. Branthwaite rises in the air, and Everton, who picked up that point at Newcastle in midweek, will just hope that late revival at St James's Park can be some sort of a springboard to end this barren run, Izzy.
Yes, a point at St James's Park is a good result given how talented that Newcastle squad is, and the psychology between these two teams here today, with Burnley dropping 2 points midweek and Everton gaining a point midweek. It has to be advantage Everton today, along with obviously the home crowd here at Goodison.
They're on their worst run of form in 67 years, 13 Premier League games without a win, 6 points out of a possible 39, worst run since 1957 when Ian Buchan was the manager, and failure to win today would actually equal a club record from back in 1937 under Theo Kelly. And that's something that they will hope that they can end as they look for a third successive win against Burnley this season. They've also had a win in the League Cup as Mikalenko is sent scampering forward on that far side, the left. Everton are attacking the Park end of the ground in their royal blue shirts and white shorts, and in the sunshine it's a quick throw from the left, and it goes back. And then here is Branthwaite as the Burnley supporters make their presence felt after that short trip to Goodison up to Calvert-Lewin. Might come to Garner, taken away from him by Decore. Passes it out to Coleman. Coleman with a diagonal ball in, and well claimed by Muric. Certainly his return to the starting 11 has helped with their revival. He was a regular last season in the Championship. This is a fourth successive start for the Kosovan international.
Yeah, and listening to general chat around Burnley fans about the impact that Muric has had since coming back into the team, there's a little bit more of a sense of safety around his presence in goal for Burnley, and it doesn't really it's not a coincidence that they've managed to pick up results when Muric has been back in, really confident, and they're just claiming that lofted ball in from Seamus Coleman with ease and presence.
Usual goal service as well on a Saturday afternoon. Rotherham, of course, relegated last night from the Championship. The only issue that actually can be settled today is Carlisle potentially could be relegated from League One if they fail to win at Northampton, or if indeed Burton were to win as well. And talking of League One, the leaders, there's been a goal at Fratton Park. Flo Pollock.
Portsmouth 1, Shrewsbury 0. League One leaders are in front. Ball whipped in across the face of goal. I think it might have been an own goal. Portsmouth 1, Shrewsbury 0.
14 unbeaten and going well. John Mousinho's side, as that header from Assignon went up rather than away. Berger will try and tidy up in the midfield for Burnley. Being pushed back by Andre Gomez. He in the end has to clear it long. Branthwaite's header forward. Garner then plays the back. It was a positive introduction from the bench against Newcastle, wasn't it, from James Garner on Tuesday night? You can lose track of the days, can't you, with all these midweek games?
It was definitely Tuesday. He had that shot off the post, didn't he, when he came on? He curled the ball from the edge of the area and it came off the inside of the post. Really unfortunate. He's a player who's really progressed this season, James Garner.
Coleman with a throw. Gomez tickles the ball forward. Garner then gives it away, and Burnley can break. And it was with Odobert. Fofana here plays it back to Cullen. Cullen's diagonal ball spread out towards that far side for Lyle Foster, playing wide on that right hand side. I'm just going to be interested to see if he does eventually drift into a central area. When I saw them away at Aston Villa, at times he bullied the Aston Villa central defenders by drifting in off that wide area.
Yeah, I think it's Vincent Kompany's way of getting more forwards into the team, playing Lyle Foster off the right hand side, and early on in this game so far. Burnley have tried to find him twice up against Mykolenko. Perhaps that is an area that Burnley have targeted.
Coleman volleys the ball away downfield. Wind assisted, it will go away from Decore. Actually allows Assignon to play it forward. Won back though by Dwight McNeil, former Burnley player, of course, Dwight McNeil. And Sean Dyche against his former side too. 425 games that he managed Burnley. As Branthwaite, Fairhead central defender, stands on the ball. And then the ball goes from Mykolenko back to Branthwaite. Actually bypasses James Garner on this occasion to Tarkowski, another former Claret. Long searching ball headed away by Assignon. And McNeil will keep the ball in play over on that far side, the left. The shadows of the park stand away towards our right hand side as we welcome listeners to the BBC World Service. Wherever you are in the world, it's always a pleasure to have your company. Here we are at Goodison Park, vital game down at the bottom of the table, and Everton 0, Burnley 0, but Mansfield 0, Crawley 1 is a latest score in League 2. As here is Coleman with a cutback and cleared by the Burnley defence as it comes back out towards Young, and it goes for an Everton corner kick. News of a goal in League 2 at Sutton. Ellen Ellard.
Sutton 0, Stockport 1. The ball came from a corner, worked round the edge of the area. First shot came in, well saved by Steve Arnold, but Paddy Madden was there to tidy things up. Sutton 0, Stockport 1.
That's good news for Dave Challoner's side, with second place Mansfield losing at home to Crawley. Crawley, remember, 7th in the table themselves, have been on a good run of form. They've won 7 of their last 10 of Crawley. So a couple of early goals in League 2. 0-0 here at Goodison Park. Everton playing from left to right as we look. Corner kick near side the right. McNeil to take it. Both arms aloft. Then the referee has blown his whistle. Our referee, incidentally, is Michael Oliver. There was a couple of players going to ground in that crowded area. Tarkowski was one of them. Fofana was the other. As the referee just having a little word with Muric, actually, who's been called off his goal line. Burnley have every yellow shirt back in and around the penalty area. The wind buffeting around here at Goodison Park. 0-0, 7 minutes played. Now the referee is happy for this corner kick to be taken, as McNeil should be an in-swinger off the left boot. Tarkowski makes the run towards the far post. It was, well, I tell you what, that was a devilish ball in, Izzy, especially with the wind.
That was teasing, wasn't it? Absolutely fantastic delivery from Dwight McNeil, in swinging with his left foot. He just curled it into an area, teasing Muric, and it actually ended up going out. But that is where Everton can really capitalise set pieces.
Everton remembered Jimmy Husband ahead of kick-off. Of course, he used to play for Luton Town as well. We can go to Kenilworth Road. Chris Coles.
He was remembered here, Ian, before kick-off as well. Luton 0, Bournemouth 0. I'm sure this isn't the only game heavily impacted by the wind. Both sides really struggling to keep hold of the ball in tricky conditions. It's led to an entertaining start. Ross Barkley shooting Luton's best chance over from 25 yards. Luton 0, Bournemouth 0.
There's a foul there on Calvert-Lewin, and that will be a free kick to Everton about 10 yards inside their own half. I would imagine that first goal, well, it was 22 in all competitions, 18 in the Premier League, will have given him the world of confidence to get that off his back.
Huge, but knowing Dominic Calvert-Lewin reasonably well from my time at Everton, he doesn't get fazed by the pressure, and you could see that when he took the penalty. He was focused. It wasn't the most convincing penalty I've ever seen, but it went in the back of the net, and that is the most important thing.
Nothing really materialised from that Everton free kick. Went all the way through and out for a goal kick. So we can go to Villa Park. Aston Villa, Brentford. Pat Murphy.
It's 0-0, but a half chance for Brentford. Mbuemo, free kick, hit the side netting from 20 yards. Jubilation from the Brentford fans 80 yards away, who thought it was a goal. Much derision from the Villa fans, accompanied by the occasional hand gesture. Villa 0, Brentford 0.
Thank you, Pat. Aston Villa 2 points clear of Tottenham, looking to try and consolidate that place for a Champions League position for next season. The Champions League returns during the week. We'll be live in Madrid on Tuesday night, and Europa League quarter-final action on Thursday actually comes from Merseyside as Liverpool take on Atalanta. This is the Premier League. We're the other side of Stanley Park though here today, as Burnley try and work the ball out of defence, and in their yellow shirts the ball squirms its way out towards that far side for Assignon on the halfway line. Goes infield to Berger, along the ground Now it's with Esteve. His bright pink boots to carry the ball midway through the Everton half. Charlie Taylor passes the ball back. Cullen, Brun Larsen holds off the attentions of Decore. And Burnley now with O'Shea. Back with Cullen once again. Coming forward. Running away from Decore. Just has a little nibble and then does indeed foul the Irish international free kick. We'll go to Molineux. Masfarouki.
Chance for Wolves. Rayan Aït-Nouri flashing over the West Ham crossbar with the strike hit with some pace from the right. It's been a positive start from Wolves. West Ham really haven't got going yet. 0-0, 10 minutes played.
10 minutes played here as well at Goodison. Earlier in the Championship, Norwich beat the leaders Ipswich by 1-0. Manchester City beat Crystal Palace by 4-2 at Selhurst Park. Down here at the bottom of the table, that yellow shirt of Cullen rippling in the strong breeze as he hits that, and it goes all the way through for a goal kick. It's been a slow, scrappy start.
Yeah, and that's just moments earlier. That was the first time Burnley have got the ball down with Muric, and they started playing out from the back. They played some really, really nice football through the lines, trying to break off Everton's press with Decore. And anyone who's seen Decore play this season, he is so effective in the press. If you can kill him off and kill his enthusiasm, you then get out, and that is what Burnley have done so far.
Goal in the Premier League elsewhere. It's at Craven Cottage. Henry Moran.
No goal here. Fulham 0, Newcastle 0. Fulham by far the better side. Willian has just had 2 shots that have come close. Newcastle look tired. They look leggy. Fulham on top. Fulham 0, Newcastle 0.
The wind rattling its way through clearly has affected my hearing, although I am now told reliably that there's been a goal at Coventry. Charlie Slater.
Huge goal in the title race. Ellis Sims for Coventry gives them the lead, a yard out with a header from a corner kick. It had been all Leeds before that, but Ellis Sims has his 14th goal in 11 games. 9 gone. Coventry 1, Leeds 0.
And not only that, because of Norwich's victory against Ipswich, they actually moved 7 points clear of Coventry, so Coventry trying to close that gap for a playoff position. But Leeds United, of course, just a point behind Ipswich Town, and yet to lose in 2024 in the Championship. 0-0 it remains here at Goodison Park. Not a great deal is happening so far. To Hull we go in the Super League. Richard Stead.
10 minutes played in, it's 6-4 to the visitors. It took 1 set and 1 minute for Adam Swift to score. The only difference has been the goal kicking. Sutcliffe has crossed for Hull. It's FC 4, Huddersfield 6.
12 minutes played here. Ball given away by Burnley. Young to Decore on the stretch, kept the ball in play. Sean Dyche not wearing a jacket top, he's just there with his smart slacks and his white shirt. A rather casual looking Vincent Kompany with a baseball cap, but Sean Dyche is animated as ever as Charlie Taylor comes forward on this near side the left. Shadows of the main stand, back towards Cullen. You can feel the tension from the Everton supporters. They're not really behind their team at this stage.
You can, and Burnley are dominating possession so far in the game. They're really happy to keep playing, and I think what Everton have got, especially on this right hand side in Ashley Young and captain Seamus Coleman, is real solid. They're really solid, so it's forcing Burnley to keep the ball more, and Everton are just waiting to pounce.
There is a nervousness around Goodison Park as Coleman with the interception preventing it from reaching Brun Larsen. Up towards Calvert-Lewin, looks for the little flick on. Decore making the run behind. Here is Cullen once again seeing a lot of the ball. Josh Cullen, he's always been a tidy midfielder. You know, he had a lot of loan spells out from his days at West Ham. If you give him the space, he'll look after the ball in that respect.
Yeah, he can play, and you can just see he's just playing games at the moment with Everton's midfield, just seeing which areas of the pitch they're going to follow him into. He's come out into this left back position to receive the ball already, and he's just looking to add that extra number to keep Burnley ticking over. I think so far Vincent Kompany will be the happier manager.
Well, no surprise that this stadium has seen the fewest amount of goals at any other ground in the Premier League, just 33, and not much has happened so far in these opening 14 minutes as it remains goalless. As McNeil makes the run, then slips it forward to Decore, right corner of the area. The cross from the cutback will be dealt with by Foster running back to put it out of play. We'll go to Kenilworth Road though. Chris Coles.
Bournemouth so close to the opening goal. Marcus Tavernier, free kick left of the D, hit it really well and found the angle of post and bar. It bounced to safety. Luton 0, Bournemouth 0.
McNeil's cross from the left cut out. Burnley up towards Fofana. Good sliding challenge by Branthwaite, and Branthwaite shoots left-footed, and it was a good 25 yards out from goal, and it was off target, goal kick, but the supporters appreciated the endeavour.
Yeah, the Everton fans absolutely love a sliding tackle. That is what gets them off their seats. Branthwaite just killing off the counter-attack from Burnley. Beautiful sliding tackle. If you can call a sliding tackle beautiful, I just did. And then with his confidence, Branthwaite, he's just let one fly. He had a shot on goal, but it's gone well wide.
Best effort so far from either side as Muric with the clearance. Brun Larsen heads it to Fofana, tries to lay it off. There is Gomez though with his jet black hair in the centre circle. Back towards Pickford, all in green. Garish orange boots with his short sleeve shirt. Looks for the distribution, looks to try and ping it out to this near side the right. Brun Larsen's header will see that ball drop out of play for a throw. Morecambe 0, Doncaster 1 is a latest score in League 2. Doncaster have been in a good run of form of late and have taken the lead on the Fylde coast. Morecambe 0, Doncaster 1 in League 2. Here we are with Pickford. Hits it downfield again. Headed away by Foster. Picked up by Gomez. Gives it to McNeil. Mikalenko has stayed wide out that far side the left. Ball then pushed forward for the run of Gomez down towards the byline. Last touch I thought might have come off Gomez, but it didn't, and instead it will be a corner kick to Everton.
Yeah, the first time Everton have got an advanced midfielder running beyond, and it was Gomez on this occasion running to the byline looking for that cutback, but not quite coming off, and they've got a corner as a result. And I'm watching Ashley Young on the goalkeeper causing trouble, being a menace.
Decore's in there, Garner is in there too. In it comes, as it didn't even beat the first man, as it turns out, from that corner kick from McNeil. And the ball then is with Mikalenko, who turns. Mikalenko to Decore, left side of the penalty area. Decore onto his right foot. Calvert-Lewin was there, gathered in well though by Muric at his near post.
Yeah, they're looking for it now. Everton, they're feeling the game now. They've got a couple of balls across. They're looking for the balls into the box at the earliest opportunity. It was Decore there looking to slide one across the 6-yard box into Calvert-Lewin, but Muric was better to it.
Muric passes the ball out. Everton with the press. Back it goes to the goalkeeper. Didn't look too comfortable, the ball at his feet there, but eventually they get it out towards O'Shea, and he can run forward midway through his own half, and he hits a right-footed ball looking for the run of Foster. Foster couldn't just flick the ball on for Brun Larsen, who was running in behind him. Everton's clearance goes straight to Esteve. Maxime Esteve on loan from Montpellier. 6'4" defender, and then Berger dropping very, very deep. And now with O'Shea. Now we can hear some Everton voices from the Gladys Street end away towards our left-hand side. 18 minutes play, and it's tense, and it's certainly tight. And Assignon has lost the ball, the right back, and they can exploit that gap now, can Everton? The cross though, flag goes up on this near side. Let's get another update from that other game down at the bottom of the table. Luton, Bournemouth, Chris Coles.
Bournemouth hit the post for the second time in 5 minutes. This time Justin Kluivert linking nicely with Dominic Solanke on the edge of the box. Kluivert's right foot shot brushed the outside of the post. Bournemouth on top, but still 0-0 at Luton.
Just a lack of conviction at times, isn't there?
Yeah, it was an excellent win, in possession from Dwight McNeil. Just caught in possession Burnley on that right-hand side, and it was a really sloppy pass from Decore as well, not staying on side. It's the basics, and that is just where the enthusiasm of the crowd just gets drawn out, and they've now got to bring it back in again, the Everton players.
That's the voice of Izzy Christiansen here on BBC Radio 5 Live. BBC World Service also available on the BBC Sounds app. Tarkowski's forward ball, Decore's header misdirected. It will be a Burnley throw on this near side, the left. You look at Everton's fixtures, Izzy, they've got some difficult games coming up with Chelsea and Liverpool, Nottingham Forest sandwiched in, but you factor the game in here today against Burnley, Forest at home, Sheffield United still to play at home, and Luton away. So in that respect, their destiny is still in their own hands.
It is, but when you're playing the teams around you, fighting there as hard as the games against the teams at the top of the table as well, fighting for league titles. So every game is a must-win, and this one in particular. Get that ball rolling for both sides. Integral and so tight so far in this one.
And of course, should a points deduction arrive at the start of next week, then there will be clarity in the extent that they know then what could happen. Whether they, of course, everything's subject to appeal. such a messy end in that respect for the Premier League. But no other goals elsewhere to tell you about, as the ball, downward header from Estev, stabbed in field by Young. Here is McNeil, Mikolenko on the overlap. McNeil though will shoot, and it was into a body of legs on the edge of the area, and then Berger passes the ball out towards that far side.
Yeah, Andre Gomez, question marks around, can he do the work in the midfield? He's just proven that he can.
Here is Foster, goes on the outside. Assagnoni's also there. Foster wins the challenge, gets the shot away. Header's going to come out to Charlie Taylor, who shoots, blocked by Coleman. Comes out. Cullen plays it. Berger, forward ball. Burnley are attacking. Cross towards the far post and headed behind, and it's a corner kick to Burnley.
It's fantastic from Burnley. Just on the counter-attack, they work the ball up the pitch, and they're really patient in the final third. The ball recirculates, they move it around the edge of the box, and they've just looked for that dink ball to the back post, and Mikolenko has had to deal with it, but there was no player behind him coming in at the back post. He could have let it go, but now Burnley have got a corner.
So Burnley playing from right to left as we look. Still 0-0 here at Goodison Park. Have a corner kick over on that far side. It was a fearsome drive from Charlie Taylor, who scored his first goal for Burnley on his 198th appearance, as the cross comes in, easily headed out by Calvert-Lewin, climbing high at the near post. And the aforementioned Taylor tidies up and back towards Muric. Muric forward ball. That was given away rather sloppily in the midfield by Lyle Foster. Young can now run forward. Cross strikes the back of O'Shea, rides up in the air. Here is McNeil, had his arm pulled back a little bit there, McNeil. Young floats over the cross, too much on that, and it will curl out of play and out for a goal kick. Vincent Kompany applauds. It remains 0-0. Let's get another update from the Super League with Richard Stead.
Yeah, Jack Murchie's just scored a third for Huddersfield. Ian, 16-4 with the kick to come. 2 tries from Adam Swift so far against his former club. The visitors on top.
Not many goals around at this part of the afternoon. What are we, 22 minutes in? And look down the old video printer. Coventry 1, Leeds 0, Morecambe 0, Doncaster 1, Portsmouth 1, Shrewsbury 0. I think that's about it. Goalless at Aston Villa, Brentford, Fulham, Newcastle, Luton, Bournemouth, Wolves, West Ham. As Taylor waits to take the throw for Burnley on this near side. Not much movement for Charlie Taylor. That wind isn't easing, is it? Acrobatically, Taylor keeps the ball in play, loops up in the air. Gomez now towards Decore, short forward ball. McNeil comes into a central area. Young will feed it on this near side, the right. Calvert-Lewin is adjudged offside. Free kick to Burnley, 0-0, and it is 0-0.
That's the second time Everton have been caught offside where they just didn't need to be. The ball down the line shaped into the space by Ashley Young, and I think the pass is for Decore, but Calvert-Lewin was offside and he ran onto the end of it.
Any better for you at Molineux, Maz?
Well, there's been another couple of chances for Wolves, Ian. Zarabia and Tommy Doyle, some really good quick counter-attacking from Wolves at the moment. West Ham still really don't look in this game, but it is still 0-0 midway through this first half.
Well, we're midway through the first half. We've just had a Branthwaite shot that was well off target, and that's been about it. There was a Burnley attack as Odobert picks the ball up centrally. His ball is stopped by the legs of Branthwaite. Passes the ball towards Decore. Young is getting forward on this near side. Instead he looks for the run of Gomez, and Estev comes across, deals with it, snuffs it out for a throw far side, 0-0.
Yeah, there has to be a time when, you know, some of the pretty football that Burnley play, and they've done this all season, the pragmatism attached to a game of this magnitude, they are starting to give Everton little loose passes. They're being caught in possession where they don't need to be playing as so intricately, and I just wonder whether this is exactly what Everton want and they're just going to capitalise.
as Fofana picks up the ball on the right hand side and overruns it, and James Garner running back takes it away off his toes and passes the ball inside. Charlton Athletic going ever so well under Nathan Jones, unbeaten in 10, are leading at the Valley. Charlton 1, Barnsley 0 is the latest score in League One. Cross swung over from Mikolenko, comes out towards Young. Ashley Young, edge of the area, passes it forward towards Decore, can't keep the ball in play, and the attack peters out and it remains 0-0. So to Henry Moran back at Craven Cottage.
Fulham 0, Newcastle 0. Hard to overstate quite how good Fulham have been and how poor Newcastle have been. 9 shots on goal, 6 corners. That's for Fulham. Newcastle 0 in every single sense. They've been really poor. Fulham 0, Newcastle 0.
BBC Radio 5 Live. 25 minutes played here at Goodison Park. Ball hit long, out of defence for Foster. Dealt with by Mikolenko. Branthwaite then will swing it out to this near side. Taylor heads it forward. Bryn Larson plays the ball infield. Cullen looking for the run now of Odebear, who looks to go on the outside of James Garner, then comes on the inside, passes the ball along the ground. Bryn Larson will float a diagonal ball out towards that far side. Hit by Foster, comes back towards Foster. Mikolenko at the second attempt clears the ball. Burnley though keep it in play right hand side. Here is Foster once again. Foster to Assignon. Assignon waits, crosses, blocks, edge of the area, headed away by Decore, headed back by Taylor. Vincent Kompany is bouncing around in that technical area, thinking there should have been a free kick for the away side on that occasion, as Michael Oliver on this time will give the free kick for Everton inside the centre circle. Tranmere lead Walsall by a 1-0 incidentally at League 2, and there's been a goal at Stoke in the Championship. Lee Blakeman.
It's gone to West Brom. Stoke 0, West Brom 1. Mikey Johnston's got it, played through, very questionable offside, flag stayed down, nice finish. Stoke 0, West Brom 1.
And I mentioned earlier about a possibility of Carlisle getting relegated. Carlisle have got to win for a stay of execution, especially with Burton losing at home to Oxford United. Burton 0, Oxford United 1, and Mansfield 0, Crawley 2 is the latest score. So Crawley's excellent form continuing at Field Mill, and Mansfield just stumbling somewhat. Only 1 win in their last 4. Taylor clears for Burnley. Yet to have a goal in any of the 3 o'clocks in the Premier League on BBC Radio 5 Live. And Doncaster Rovers have got a second at Morecambe. Morecambe 0, Doncaster Rovers 2. We'll go back into the Championship. Queen's Park Rangers, John Akers.
QPR 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, but we've just had one of the misses of the season, probably the worst I've ever seen live. Joss Windass is only a yard out. He looks certain to score. It came off his thighs and went wide. You'll be seeing it on your reels all week. QPR 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
27 minutes played here at Goodison Park. O'Shea, a stationary O'Shea. Cullen in between the 2 centre-backs, passes the ball wide. O'Shea now feeds it forward to the feet of Assignon. 10 yards inside the Everton half on that right-hand side. Helped forward by Foster. Assignon's continued that run. Down towards the corner flag he goes. Good footwork by Assignon away from Mikolenko. Delivers the cross towards the near post. Pickford was there. And I think it was Tarkowski as well. And between them, they managed to get the ball away, but they're just seeing a few encouraging moments of Burnley.
They've played some brilliant football. It was Assignon, the overlapping fullback, getting outside of Lyle Foster on that right-hand side for Burnley. He fizzed the ball across. And I haven't seen a replay yet, but I think that was absolutely superb from James Tarkowski, just to clear the ball away. Just watching it now, the bit of skill from Assignon was delightful, past McNeil, and it was Tarkowski yet. He just intercepted it.
28 minutes played, still goalless at Goodison Park to Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
It's 0-0 here. It's all very well Villa playing pretty patterns, but they're doing nothing with their passing, particularly the final ball. And they nearly scored at the other end, Brentford. Carlos, great tackle in front of the Holt end to deny Wisa. Villa 0, Brentford 0.
Everton haven't won in their last 5 home games in the Premier League. The last time they went 6 without a win was 2009. As a misplaced pass goes out for a throw. And Burnley look comfortable at the moment.
They do. They've really found their groove. But I do think they still look vulnerable.
Bryn Larson takes the ball off his chest from that ball, lays it off towards Foster. Branthwaite slid in, vital interception on the edge of the area just before he could shape to shoot. Burnley they'll win the ball back. Sean Dyche complains down below to the 4th official.
Well, this is where the cauldron of Goodison Park starts to creep in. That misplaced pass about a minute ago, and then just the decisions not going their way. You can feel the tension across the fans starting to build.
Here is Odebear on the left. Coleman, the right back for Everton, will pass the ball back to his goalkeeper Jordan Pickford onto that trusty left foot of his, clears it, and out of play it goes for a throw. Now remember, Ipswich Town, the leaders in the Championship, lost at Norwich City. We know that Leeds United are behind at Coventry. So for third place Leicester, an opportunity, and there's been a goal. Aaron Paul.
Oh, finally they're ahead in. Leicester 1, Birmingham 0. Birmingham just taking risks at the back. Leicester knocking it around the Birmingham 6-yard box. And there was Kiernan Dewsbury who said, thank you very much, I'll stick it in the back of the net. And that's what he did, dropping to the floor in relief. Leicester 1, Birmingham 0.
There's already been a goal involving the leaders of League One, and there's been a second at Fratton Park. Flo Pollock.
And it's level. Portsmouth 1, Shrewsbury 1 against the run of play. Good run down the right. Jordan Shipley applying the finish. Portsmouth 1, Shrewsbury 1.
Second place Derby not in action until Wednesday when they take on Wickham. Bolton, who are third, are away at Bristol Rovers this afternoon. Esteve clears for Burnley. Still it remains goalless at Goodison, as this is Foster carrying the ball forward, edge of the area. Foster onto his right foot, tried to thread it through to Fofana. Mikolenko sliding clearance, strikes his own player, benefits Fofana as it comes back to him, and then Tarkowski will run back and eventually clear for Everton.
It's a real mess at the back from Everton. Firstly, Branthwaite, never let the ball bounce, and Foster just run off the line from the right hand side. The ball's bouncing, he's just won the header, and then Odebear's got through, and Everton really lucky not to concede that.
That sense of nervousness isn't getting better. There is a real anxiety around Goodison Park. You can feel the sense of peril that they know that their club are in. 4 points clear of Luton Town. There's just a stoppage in play here, which can only imagine that there's something wrong with the assistant referee, his communication system, so he's just getting patched up on his upper left arm at this stage. I was thinking there might have been a VAR check, but he's given the thumbs up to Michael Oliver as the assistant, and play can resume. But 31 minutes played and very little has happened in this game. But there is now a penalty at Molineux. Maz Faruqi.
For Wolves, Pablo Sarabia is about to take it for Wolves. It definitely looked like a penalty from my position. Rayan Aït-Nouri off on the counter-attack, brought down by Emerson. Tony Harrington saw it immediately, pointed to the spot. But West Ham here, it's all fun and games. Kilman's getting involved because they're just trying to reposition it on the penalty spot. So maybe come back to me in a second.
OK, let us know when, Maz. As meanwhile, Blackpool 1, Cambridge 0. Barnsley have equalised at the Valley. Charlton 1, Barnsley 1 is another latest score in League One. And Burnley have been awarded a free kick just outside the left corner of the penalty area. But we'll go back to Maz.
Pablo Sarabia has scored that penalty. He flashed it just inside the right-hand corner. Fabianski couldn't get there. Wolves have been the better side here, and they deserve this lead. Wolves 1, West Ham 0.
Not great for West Ham going into that Europa League quarter-final on Thursday against Bayer Leverkusen, out of form in the Premier League. 4 wins without in the Premier League before today, and behind at Molineux. Here though for Burnley, Brun Larsen, left corner of the penalty area to take this free kick. It remains 0-0. 12 minutes to go to half-time. Pickford, he's got 3 in the wall. Every other Everton player is back in and around that penalty area. It's Brun Larsen with a dipping effort, right-footed, just over the top. Goal kick.
Not far off at all from Brun Larsen. He's just looked to whip the ball across the face of the goal, and it's not too far over the bar at all, but really positive sign again from Burnley.
At the top of League Two, third place Wrexham are drawing at Colchester. Second place Mansfield are 2-0 down at home to Crawley. And for the leaders Stockport, Ellen Ellard.
They've doubled their lead. Sarcevic with a free kick in his own half, taken quickly. He spots Carl Noyle making a run towards the area down the right hand side. He cuts it back for Paddy Madden, who is there and waiting, and slots away his second of the game. Sutton 0, Stockport 2.
Hull City without a win in 6 are leading at Cardiff in the Championship. Cardiff 0, Hull City 1. 11 minutes to go to half time, and another free kick for Burnley. What are we, just under 30 yards out from goal? Near side the left, about 10 yards in from the touchline. Charlie Taylor's just wandered over to have a word with Brun Larsen. Cullen is there as well, and Everton have got a line of royal blue shirts on the edge of their penalty area.
Looks like Brun Larsen or Cullen is going to whip this in. Not shooting range at all.
Brun Larsen went close moments ago, but he was a lot closer there to the penalty area than he is here. In fact, he leaves it for Cullen, and Cullen goes deep into that crowded area, headed out. Taylor tries to head it forward. Clash of heads, there'll be a stoppage in play. Let's get an update from Coventry in the Championship. Charlie Slater.
31 minutes gone. Coventry 1, Leeds 0, but Leeds should be level. Patrick Bamford's missed a sitter. Firpo put it on a plate for him 5 yards out. Goal at his mercy, put it wide. Still 1-0 to Coventry.
As it stands, Leicester City, who are leading Birmingham by a goal to nil, are currently top of the Championship. We mentioned about Carlisle United could potentially go down. They're at Northampton, and there's been a goal. Mark Webber.
Yeah, they need to win this game, but it's Northampton 1, Carlisle 0 at the moment. Kieran Bowie picking up off the rebound from a Mitch Pinnock corner. Northampton Town 1, Carlisle United 0.
Bottom of the table, Carlisle then facing relegation as there's a stoppage in play, and Charlie Taylor is getting patched up, and there's also, can't see who the Everton player is actually who's getting treatment. McNeil, is it? Hasn't been a great game this, has it, so far, is he?
No, it's just like Burnley by far been the better team. You know, they've looked to play. Josh Cullen's been fantastic in the middle of the park. I did say before the game that, as cliche as it sounds, it could be a game won and lost in the midfield. Burnley have had some wonderful little passing patterns, and that little injury there, I think it was a head collision between Dwight McNeil and Taylor of Burnley just off the second phase of that free kick that was whipped in by Cullen.
Grimsby 1, Newport 0. Still play yet to resume. Back to Hull, Richard Stead.
3 tries since you were last with us, Ian. Sutcliffe for the home side, and in reply Huddersfield have struck through Easton Masters and a hat-trick try for Adam Swift. 6 minutes to the interval. Hull FC 10, Huddersfield 28.
Leyton Orient 1, Cheltenham 0 is the latest score in League One. Only Wolves in the Premier League of the 3 o'clock games has seen a goal. Wolves leading West Ham by a goal to 0. 9 minutes to go to half-time. Play about to resume. Kenilworth Road now, Chris Coles.
Luton 0, Bournemouth 0. Bournemouth continue to create the better chances. The latest coming from a corner that hit Luton's Deki Hashioka and very nearly went in until Thomas Kaminski made a smart save to keep it at Luton 0, Bournemouth 0.
Coleman's cross from the right. Brun Larsen helping out defensively with the clearance for Burnley. Tarkowski will bring it under control on the halfway line. 8 minutes to go. Coleman. Everton get a throw near side. Barrow 0, Swindon 1, and another goal at Sutton for Ellen Illard.
Yeah, Sutton have one back. It's a penalty. Josh Coley brought down in the area. Charlie Lake and the Burton Loney finally put the ball on the spot and sent it high and fast past Ben Hinchcliffe. Sutton 1, Stockport 2.
St Mirren 0, Hearts 1 is the latest score from Paisley in the Scottish Premiership. Esteb will let this bouncing ball go back. This scoreline suits Burnley.
Yeah, I've been watching Vincent Kompany on the touchline, and there's been many a time he's had his hands above his head applauding his team's defensive actions. In possession, he knows exactly what to expect, but defensively, Everton really can suffocate you at times. And so far, Burnley have handled it well. Everton are right still in it, though.
Well, he will be pleased defensively, bearing in mind that they've shipped 2 or more goals in each of their last 6 away games. It's the most since a run of 11 in 09-10. No other goals elsewhere. But I would imagine the summing up for you for this game, when we hand back to Mark Chapman at half-time, will be minimal. It won't take very, very long as Fofana runs forward, 0-0. Diagonal ball, feeds it out towards that right-hand side. Foster's first-time cross. Pickford has to retreat. Brun Larsen couldn't control that ball because of the wind in the penalty area. Passes it ball to Cullen, left corner of the area. Back to Brun Larsen. Charlie Taylor on the overlap, not required. Cullen, though, will pass the ball forward to Taylor. First time cross, charged down by Young, diverted behind for a corner kick to Burnley.
Yeah, the Burnley have really targeted the right-hand side, Everton's left-back area. Mikalenko, every opportunity they've got, they've looked to switch the play and just put the ball above Mikalenko and kind of force the error. And then what they've done is they've circulated the ball really well through Josh Cullen, and they've worked themselves another corner.
Everton, who've only scored 15 goals at home in the Premier League, the joint fewest with Sheffield United. Well, they look like adding to that tally as Fofana comes forward with a glancing header. Corner kick from the left, near side of the 6-yard area, straight at Pickford. Pickford's early release to McNeil, controls the ball with the outside of his left boot on the halfway line, passes the ball back to Gomez. Gomez leaves it to Branthwaite. Not created hardly anything, have they, the home team? There's been a goal at Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
To Aston Villa, a McGinn cross. Watkins got the first header. Fine instinctive save by Flecken. Following up, Bailey put it in. Remains to be seen who's going to claim that goal, but after an hiatus where it looked like the referee was going to be swayed by Brentford protestations, it is definitely Villa 1, Brentford 0.
And Dundee are leading Motherwell by a 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Taylor, little flat-footed. Coleman was alert with the interception. Forward ball, Coleman will give chase. Took a deflection on its way through and will allow Audebert to just get there before Coleman, but Coleman battles for the ball well. Keeps the ball in play down by the corner flag on this right-hand side. Tries to win a corner off the legs of Audebert, but in the end the assistant referee says it will be a goal kick. Let's get another update from Craven Cottage. Henry Moran.
Fulham 0, Newcastle 0. Newcastle starting to come into this game. Anthony Gordon with most of their good work. 2 low shots drifting just wide from him, but another injury concern. Willock off. And more worries for Eddie Howe on that front. Fulham 0, Newcastle 0.
Aston Villa 1, Brentford 0. Goalless at Craven Cottage. Also 0-0 Luton Bournemouth. Wolves still lead West Ham by a 0-0. A Sarabia penalty just past the half hour. And remember earlier Manchester City beat Crystal Palace by 4-2. We'll have commentary from the Amex at 5:30 of Brighton and Hove Albion against Arsenal, and commentary tomorrow after the Old Firm of Rangers Celtic. So earlier start for 5 Live Sport. 11:30 tomorrow, Steve Crossman on the air. Manchester United Liverpool to follow at 3:30. Everton get a free kick. Don't look like scoring in open play. Let's see what they can do from this set piece.
Yeah, and they've created this siege mentality and feel around the stadium of Everton. They've played the ball long, and it's Dom Calvert-Lewin who has barely touched the ball in the first half. He's just won the header. He's been caught late, and Andre Gomez looks like he's going to swing this ball in against the wind. Could be a chance for Everton.
Gomez to take it then, right-footed, clips it in, headed away by Fofana. Dropping ball, Branthwaite, hooked back by Doucouré, cleared by Esteve, touched by James Garner then to Gomez. On the half volley, lifts it back in once again, and Muric ducks underneath it, and it runs out of play for a goal kick, and it remains 0-0. Forest Green 0, MK Dons 1 is the latest score in League 2, and in League 1 Exeter are leading Stevenage by a 0-0. But 0-0 as there's a penalty at Portsmouth now at Fratton Park. Flo Pollock.
Yes, there is. It's for Portsmouth. Colby Bishop has the ball on the spot to put Portsmouth up 2-1. The referee's just getting the goalkeeper to make sure he's on his line. Colby Bishop to put Portsmouth in front of a vociferous Fratton Park. Colby Bishop from the spot slides it in the bottom corner. Portsmouth 2, Shrewsbury 1.
Thank you, Flo. Portsmouth then back in front. 2 minutes to go to half-time. No sign of the wind abating here at Goodison. Fofana tussling for the ball with Gomez. Runs clear, very, very scrappy. James Garner hits it long. Calvert-Lewin will give chase. Muric quickly out of his goal. Puts it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, good start position from the Burnley goalkeeper. Ball just fizzed into the channel. Dominic Calvert-Lewin looked like he was going to win the race, and Muric just came and cleared it. Really alert from the Burnley goalkeeper.
Coleman, there really has been nothing for Everton to excite their supporters. Hardly an empty seat inside Goodison Park this afternoon, under the clear blue skies and the sunshine. There's Tarkowski's forward ball. Coleman inside to Doucouré, right side of the area. First cross was blocked, turns, plays it out towards Young. Young to Garner. Garner sends over the cross now from the right touchline, headed out by Assignon. Foster will collect that. Assignon's gone bursting ahead of him. Inside though to Cullen. Cullen's forward ball read easily by Tarkowski to step forward. Finds Doucouré. Now out towards Mikalenko. Mikalenko with the cross, and it comes to Young, down into the ground. Half blocked, headed away by Taylor. James Garner does well to win it back for Everton on this near side. Coleman challenged by Fofana. No foul. and instead it will be a goal kick, and we have 60 seconds remaining. Charlton incidentally are back in front. Charlton 2, Barnsley 1 is the latest score in League One. 60 seconds to go to the half time.
Yeah, he's looking for that. Seamus Coleman, just a loose pass that's been dropped back. Everton, that are the moments where they need to capitalise. The ball in for Mikalenko, they've got numbers up in the box and they just fail to convert or get a shot on target.
I don't think they've had a shot on target, have they, at all yet so far? Everton, here is Odegaard, central area taken out by Gomez. That'll be a yellow card.
That is where Everton are the most vulnerable, with Garner and Andre Gomez in that midfield. They're both offensive-minded players. It was excellent. The man on the floor, I think who's the player on the floor? Odegaard. Excellent first touch on the half turn, spins past Gomez. Gomez got a yellow card, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he's been booked by Michael Oliver. Burnley have had the greater possession, 58%. They've only had one shot on target. Everton yet to muster a shot on target. It has been grim at Goodison. As we have 2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes of added on time. Ball played forward from the free kick by Cullen. Overhit. I mean, I can imagine that well, you tell me as a former midfielder that the wind can't be helping, but as a spectacle, there's hardly been one.
No, it hasn't. I mean, looking at the football that's being played, and Burnley have by far played the better football, but that doesn't always win you football matches. I can't help but think in the second half Everton will just continue doing this, staying in the game and then nick it at the end off a set piece or something like that, because that is how the game has been. But the amount of ball playing midfielders out there on the pitch, you can just see that goal kick from Jordan Pickford, and the wind, the ball just stopped in the middle of the air.
Yeah,
just dropped.
Shortage of goals and a shortage of quality. 0-0 as Pickford clears downfield. So into 2 minutes of added on time. It's a long ball forward, cleared away by O'Shea. Branthwaite heads it forward to Gomez. Referee will give a free kick for a foul on free kick to Everton for a foul Berger on Gomez to the home side. Middlesbrough are leading Swansea by a goal to 0. Leyton Orient 2, Cheltenham 0 are other latest scores, and Bradford City are leading Gillingham by a goal to 0 at Valley Parade. Barrow 0, Swindon 2. I think that's the most excitement we've had with a flurry of scores elsewhere in this first half so far. Back with Esther. Leicester were leading Birmingham by a goal to 0. The last we heard, there's been another goal, Aaron Paul.
Oh, it's a howler from Mads Hermansen, Ian. Leicester 1. Oh, Ian, back to you.
And here we've had a goal, and it is a freak goal, because Muric, with no danger whatsoever, has gone to clear his lines, didn't look comfortable with the ball at his feet, and Calvert-Lewin, with an outstretched boot, gets the block challenge in. It balloons over the head of Muric, and out of absolutely nothing, Everton receive a gift to take the lead by a goal to 0.
Well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's not scored in 23 games. He scored midweek, and he will not get an easier goal. He just presses Muric, and it just deflects. The ball just deflects over the top of Muric and just bounces into the back of the net. Doesn't get much better than that, but Muric, he's just delayed, and it just gives Dominic Calvert-Lewin the time to press him. And if Burnley were going to be undone, it was to be undone by themselves, and that's exactly what's happened.
Well, that's incredible, bearing in mind that Aaron Paul was just telling us about a howler that he's just witnessed, and then we've seen one equally from Muric here. Notts County 1, Harrogate 0, and back to Aaron for news of that Birmingham equaliser.
Ian, it's amazing. We've just seen basically the same goal you've seen at your game. Leicester 1, Birmingham 1. Jay Stansfield just closing down the Leicester goalkeeper, Mads Hermansen, and forcing him into the mistake with the ball bobbling over the line to the embarrassment of the Danish goalkeeper. Leicester 1, Birmingham 1 into 2 minutes of added on time.
Well, the half-time whistle has sounded. That was almost the last kick of the game. Such a fortuitous goal, Izzy Christiansen, from a very poor first half.
Yeah, it's a fortuitous goal, but that's Everton. That is the way they do it. That's the way they stay in the game. They keep it tight. It's been a pretty dismal display from them. Burnley have by far been the better footballing team, but Muric, the Burnley goalkeeper, just hesitant playing out from the back, which they've been so good at in that first half, Burnley. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin just pounces. He just gets his foot in front of the ball as Muric looks to clear it, and the ball has just bounced into an empty net, and advantage Everton.
A slice of good fortune for Everton, who lead Burnley 1-0 at half-time.
Tony Watt has just scored for Dundee United, and the Scottish Championship leaders are ahead at Queen's Park by a goal to nil. Half-time at Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
1-0 Villa. Ollie Watkins, 17th league goal of the season from McGinn's cross. The keeper Flecker, he scooped it back over the line. Bailey followed up, but it's been claimed by Watkins justifiably. It's been a tepid, tedious game, over-elaboration from Villa. Final pass not good enough, but Carlos for Villa, crucial tackle to deny Wissa when he looked like he would have put Brentford ahead. Brentford have now got to chase this game. It's Villa 1, Brentford 0.
Wraith are in a promotion battle with Dundee United to get out of the Scottish Championship, and as Dundee United scored in their game, Wraith scored in theirs, and they lead Ayr by a goal to nil. Walsall have equalised in League 2 in England. It's Tranmere 1. Walsall 1. We will go to Sutton, where Stockport have retained or regained their 2-goal lead. Ellen Ellard.
Yeah, they have indeed. It's been coming for the league leaders. It fell to Paddy Madden once again. He's been the big difference here, just inside the area, curled it perfectly past Arnold for his first half hat-trick. It's Sutton 1, Stockport 3.
Let's go to Molineux. Half-time whistle has gone there. Mas Faruqi.
It is Wolves 1, West Ham 0 at the break. West Ham have been, in truth, rather flat. Their best opportunity fell for Souček in the Wolves area after Bowen fed the ball to him. He won it on the dead ball line, but Souček couldn't get the shot away. Wolves do deserve their lead. Aït-Nouri has been excellent. He won the penalty. It was a counter-attack at pace forward as he made the run into the West Ham penalty area. He was brought down by Emerson, and Pablo Sarabia slotted the spot kick away. Before that, there was a really good chance for Tommy Doyle as well, but he couldn't keep his strike on target. It is 1-0 at half-time here at Molineux.
Sorry, Miles, thank you. Goalless at Kenilworth Road, although Bournemouth will wonder how, Chris.
Yeah, quite. Shouldn't be goalless. Bournemouth have had excellent chances. They've hit the frame of the goal twice. Luton haven't offered a great deal. Fairly even between both boxes, but Bournemouth come to life in front of goal. Tavernier hit the angle of post and bar from a free kick. Kluivert's right foot shot brushed the outside of the post, and Thomas Kaminski in the Luton goal needed to be alert to prevent an own goal from a corner. Luton's half chances from range and nowhere near. Ross Barkley and Tahith Chong shooting way over the top. Luton 0, Bournemouth 0.
And if you can obviously see why, I can see on my monitor, they've put the sprinklers on.
Oh, don't.
But none of that water must be hitting the turf because of the wind.
It's hitting us. It's hitting us. The wind is so strong. They put it on before the match and we were getting soaked.
Right.
Anyway.
Goalless there. Goalless at Craven Cottage as well. Henry Moran.
Yep, Fulham 0, Newcastle 0. Despite all of Fulham's early dominance, they haven't made it count. William, Palhinha, Munoz all having good opportunities. Largely, it has to be said, created by Newcastle ineptitude. It was a frantic first half hour, but the visitors have rather grown into it in the last 15 minutes or so. The returning Anthony Gordon twice going close. As we said earlier, Newcastle are yet to have a goalless draw this season. At the break, Fulham 0, Newcastle 0.
Leaders Ipswich beaten in the derby at Norwich at lunchtime, so Leeds could go top if they win at Coventry. But Charlie Slater?
Well, they've got some work to do. Coventry 1, Leeds 0. Ellis Sims can't stop scoring. His 14th goal in 11 games. A header in the 9th minute from a corner. Leeds should have drawn level 20 minutes later, but Bamford missed from all of 5 yards out. And as it stands, they're on their way to a first defeat of 2024, while Coventry will close the gap on the playoffs to 4 points. Coventry 1, Leeds 0.
So Ipswich lost, Leeds losing. Can Leicester take advantage? Aaron Paul.
Leicester 1, Birmingham 1. 2 defensive lapses, 2 goals marking what has been a pretty tepid first half. The Foxes have created little but had loads of possession. Pretty much the same story as usual, isn't it? They took the lead through Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, who I don't think could be bothered to carry on the mini rondos, just striking past John Ruddy out of frustration and finding the back of the net. Birmingham had chances of their own. Miyoshi and Bielik producing standard saves from Hermansen, but then the Danish goalkeeper was left embarrassed. Playing out from the back, he was closed down by Jay Stansfield with the ball deflecting into the net for his 12th goal of the season. Not clinical enough from the home side. Leicester 1, Birmingham 1.
Pre-match ahead of Blackburn Southampton, we talked about Smodic and Armstrong. 49 goals between them in all competitions this season. So Will Perry?
Yeah, at the break, Blackburn 0, Southampton 0. Best chance for the visitors. Aribo's looping header hit the bar, struck the goalkeeper's back before being cleared. Adam Armstrong did flash a shot across the face of the Blackburn goal, and the Championship's top scorer Smodix was close to lobbing Bazunu but scraped the top of the net. Blackburn 0, Southampton 0.
So none of the top 4 winning so far today. The team in 5th are Lee Blakeman.
Stoke 0, West Brom 1. Stoke with all the chances. West Brom with the only goal though. Mikey Johnston played through, looked offside, flag stayed down. Johnston finished well past Iverson. Stoke have gone close through Manhoof and Haksabanovic twice. Stevens should have scored as well. Half time though, Stoke 0, West Brom 1.
Focusing towards the bottom of the table now, QPR Sheffield Wednesday. John Akers.
QPR 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. QPR have been on top, but in 5 years' time you'll be doom scrolling on your phone and you will come across the miss in the first half from Sheffield Wednesday's Josh Windass. He was a yard out, beautiful cross from the right hand side, and it's one of those where you just think, how's it not gone in? It just has to hit him surely on the goal line with Begovic nowhere, and it goes in. It came off his thighs somehow and went across the goal line and wide. It is extraordinary. It's 0-0 at half time.
You strike me as a doom scroller.
I am very much a doom scroller, and I swear our grandkids will be scrolling and they'll see that.
Right, let's go to Huddersfield Millwall. Katie Smith.
Yeah, Huddersfield 0, Millwall 0. The home side, though, offering the biggest threat. Josh Karoma will be kicking himself. Maybe he'll be doom scrolling later as well for the chances he's missed. Dragged one shot wide, one curled over the crossbar, and then a follow-up put away taken from his feet with a brilliant sliding stop from Ryan Leonard. And they won't like news of that Birmingham equaliser as well. Huddersfield steal 2 points from safety as it stands 0-0.
Inverness, Caledonian Thistle have taken the lead against Arbroath in the Scottish Championship. They lead by a goal to 0. The implication that has for Arbroath is that they will finish no higher than 9th in the Scottish Championship, so they will face a relegation playoff at best. Elsewhere in the English Championship, Cardiff 0, Hull 2 at the break. Fabio Carvalho on loan from Liverpool has got both of those goals for Liam Rosenior's side. Middlesbrough lead Swansea by a goal to 0. That would extend their run to unbeaten in their last 7. Emmanuel Lath got that goal, 11 for the season now for him. It is Sunderland 0, Bristol City 0 and Watford 0, Preston 0. Let's go into League One, and we're with the leaders this afternoon. Portsmouth at home to Shrewsbury. Flo Pollock.
Portsmouth lead Shrewsbury by 2 goals to 1. Pompey scoring with their first attack, an own goal. The Shrews captain Che Dunkley, the offender. The Shrews level through Jordan Shipley, but Pompey lead at the break courtesy of Colby Bishop from the spot. Half time, Portsmouth 2, Shrewsbury 1.
At the other end of the table, as things stand, Carlisle are down this afternoon. Mark Webber.
Indeed, because it's Northampton 1, Carlisle 0. Playing with the wind first half, and an uphill battle faces them in the second half. With the best chances before Northampton scored, Georgie Kelly's glancing header pushed over the bar by keeper Lee Burge. They could have taken the lead then, but Northampton's Mitch Pinnock, nicknamed the postman, he delivered. Kieran Bowie got on the end of his corner. Northampton 1, Carlisle 0.
Blackpool have their first goal in 4 league games, and they lead Cambridge by a goal to 0. It's goalless between Bristol Rovers and Bolton. Burton 0. Oxford 1. Mark Harris has got that, 16 for the season for him. Charlton 2, Barnsley 1. Both of Charlton's goals coming from Alfie May, 27 for the season. Adam Phillips got Barnsley's goal from the penalty spot. Exeter, who are unbeaten in their last 5, lead Stevenage by a goal to 0. It's Leyton Orient 2, Cheltenham 0, Reading 0, Lincoln 0 and Wigan 0. Port Vale 0. The League 2 leaders are ahead at Sutton. Ellen Ellard.
Yes, Sutton 1, Stockport 3, and as things stand, Sutton back into the drop zone after a good run of form prior to today, but it was a quick start from Stockport. Paddy Madden opening the scoring 3 minutes in. He then doubled their lead on the 30-minute mark. Noyle cutting it back for the captain to tap in. Almost immediately after that, though, Burton Loney Lakin scored from the spot, but just before the break, the league leaders reinstated their 2-goal lead. Paddy Madden once again a sublime curling strike to complete his first half hat-trick. At half-time, Sutton 1, Stockport 3.
Mansfield are in second, just starting to stumble a little bit. They've only won 1 of their last 4 and they're behind at home this afternoon. Mansfield 0, Crawley 2. Third place Wrexham are at Colchester. Paul Scott.
Goalless here between Colchester and Wrexham. The home side edging it though in terms of chances. John Akinde heading over, Alistair Smith shooting over, while Cameron McGee and the top scorer with the only effort on target straight at goalkeeper Arthur Akwonkwo. As for Wrexham, well, they've seen Jacob Mendy go off injured and Paul Mullen, their top scorer, has shot wide twice. It's Colchester 0, Wrexham 0.
Elsewhere, goalless between Accrington and Crewe, and AFC Wimbledon and Salford. Surprise at Barrow, who've only lost 1 in 7 7. They trail Swindon 2-0 at the break. Paul Glatzel got the second of Swindon's goals. He's got 5 in his last 6. Bradford lead Gillingham by a goal to 0. His Forest Green Rovers 0. MK Dons 1. MK Dons in 4th. Max Dean got the goal, 16 for him this season. Grimsby lead Newport by a goal to 0. Danny Rose's 15th of the season there. Morecambe 0. Doncaster 2. Luke Molyneux's got both of those goals. Notts County lead Harrogate by a goal to 0. Macaulay Langstaff from the penalty spot, and he's got 26 this season now. Tranmere 1. Walsall 1. In the National League, earlier finished Oldham 1. Rochdale 1. Half times, Borehamwood 1. Wealdstone 0. Dorking 0. Altrincham 0. Ebbsfleet 1. AFC Fylde 0. Hartlepool 1. Aldershot 0. Maidenhead 1. Barnet 0. Woking 1. Dagenham and Redbridge 1. York City 0. Eastleigh 0. It's also the semi-finals of the FA Trophy this afternoon. Bromley 0. Solihull Moors 1. And Gateshead 2. Macclesfield 0 at the break. Into the Scottish Premiership. Full commentary of Rangers Celtic tomorrow on 5 Live. It's a noon kickoff. This afternoon, we're at Hibs against St Johnstone, Ailey Barber.
Where it is goalless and not a hugely exciting one. Hibs have had a lot more of the ball, but they've not been able to find that moment of magic. The fans thought they should have had a penalty when Mitov came to punch it clear and looked to catch Marcondes rather than the ball, but a brief VAR check and nothing given. And with Dundee winning, Hibs' top 6 hopes are hanging by a thread. St Johnstone, meanwhile, they're looking to move away from the bottom. They've shown moments on the break, but both will be looking for a much bigger and better second half. It is at the break. Hibs 0, St Johnstone 0.
Just 2 goals in 5 games in the Scottish Premiership this afternoon. They've come at Dens Park, where Dundee lead Motherwell by a goal to 0, and at St Mirren, where Hearts are a goal to the good. So as well as it being goalless between Hibs and St Johnstone, it's also 0-0 between Kilmarnock and Ross County and Livingston and Aberdeen. In the Scottish Championship, Airdrieonians 2, Morton 0, Dunfermline 0, Partick Thistle 1, Inverness 1, Arbroath 0. Arbroath won't be able to finish higher than 9th this season if that scoreline stays the same. Queen's Park 0, Dundee United 1, and Wraith lead Ayr by a goal to 0. So the gap between those two at the top would stay 4 points, but Wraith have a game in hand on Dundee United. In League 1, Annan 0, Hamilton 1. They've abandoned the game between Edinburgh City and Montrose, presumably because of the weather. Queen of the South 0, Kelty Hearts 1, and Stirling 0, Alloa 3 the other half times. In League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Peterhead 0, Clyde 0, Stranraer 0, Elgin 0, Spartans 1, Forfar 0, Dumbarton 0, Stenhousemuir 0, East Fife 0. So Stenhousemuir will be promoted today because they're getting a point and Peterhead are losing. In the Rugby Union Champions Cup, earlier Bulls beat Lyon 59-19. Half time, and it's Exeter 7, Bath 12. You can listen to that on Sports Extra. It's also Stormers 13, La Rochelle 0. Let's go into Super League. We talked about Hull getting several wallopings this season, and they're on the end of another. Richard.
Yeah, just a try in the second minute of the second half. It will go to the video referee, but Hull have been awful, Mark. 40 points to 10. Huddersfield lead, including a first half Adam Swift hat-trick. As I say, Bibby's just gone over in the corner. It's gone up to the video referee as a no try, but 40-10 is the score. Huddersfield Giants very much in charge at Hull FC.
In Snooker's Tour Championship in the semi-final, Mark Williams 8, Mark Allen 0. It's the first to 10 in that semi-final. 2 minutes past 4, back to Goodison after the latest news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Israel's military says it's recovered the body of a man taken hostage in Gaza. Elad Katzir was among those taken during the Hamas attacks on the 7th of October. Israeli officials say they believe as many as 97 people could still be alive. At least 7 people have been killed in Russian drone attacks on the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. Officials say 6 died when residential areas were targeted overnight, and 1 person was killed in a second strike this afternoon. And Greater Manchester Police says a human torso found wrapped in plastic at a nature reserve on Thursday is that of a man who was aged over 40. Detectives believe he'd been dead for a matter of days. DNA tests are being carried out to identify him.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman
on 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
A couple of cricketing stories for you. Sam North East of Glamorgan, 335 not out when his side declared on 620 for 3 in the county championship against Middlesex. And in the IPL, Virat Kohli currently 72 off 51 balls for RCB, who were 125 without loss in the 14th against Rajasthan Royals. Back to Ian.
Just underway, Everton leading by a goal to nil. That fortuitous goal from Calvert-Lewin on the stroke of half-time, just closing down the Muric clearance. It's definitely a freak goal, element of really good fortune for a game which lacked quality and very few chances in that first half. But Everton in their predicament will take that, and incidentally, since the start of last season, all 9 of Everton's home wins in the Premier League have been to nil. So they'll be looking to try and continue that trend here at Goodison as they play in their royal blue shirts and white shorts from right to left as they attack the Gladys Street end. And there's been an early goal in the second half at Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
It's Villa's second goal, and the magnificent goal by Morgan Rogers, their January signing. Rolled his hips, shrugged off the defender, composed finish with his left foot. No wonder he did the cartwheel. He'll be delighted with that, as are the Villa fans. Villa 2, Brentford 0.
Thank you, Pat. Everton have got this free kick, right hand side, just in from the touchline. Gomez to take it, no alterations to tell you about. I'll run through the two teams for you in a moment. Gomez then on that right, it's a good ball in, it's headed out by Foster. So Pickford is in goal, back four of Coleman, Tarkowski, Branthwaite and Mikolenko, as Mikolenko goes on the outside and delivers a cross, and then it's Brun Larsen who controls it in the penalty area. Young, Garner, McNeil, Decore, Gomez and Calvert-Lewin make up that Everton starting lineup. For Burnley, Muric, who was at fault for the goal, back four of Assignon, Esteve, O'Shea and Taylor, Brun Larsen, Cullen, Berger, Odegaard, Foster and Fofana. And Burnley in their yellow shirts and black shorts are playing from left to right, attacking the Park end of the ground. But a much more positive start for the second half, Everton.
Yeah, they've come out of the traps flying, Everton. They're really pushing down that right-hand side of Burnley, just trying to pin them back, let them know who's boss, because Burnley in the first half played by far the better football. But as you say, don't know, fortuitous, but that's football. With that Everton goal, puts them in the lead. They've now got something to hold on to.
And also bearing in mind that for Burnley, when they've conceded first, they're yet to win this season. On the previous 18 times it's happened in this Premier League season, they've drawn 2 and lost 16 when they've conceded the first goal in games in the Premier League. As O'Shea passes the ball back to Muric. Muric then to Esteve. Cullen drops in between the two central defenders once more. Assignon and Taylor, the full-backs right and left side respectively, are pushed quite high. Esteve to Cullen. No pressure on Cullen at this stage, and they're quite happy for him to have the ball as Odegaard in that central area gives it back, and then they all of a sudden start to press and Burnley are forced to go back.
Yeah, spot on. Don't know, they're just letting Burnley get back into that sense of security that they were in the first half, dictating the ball, keeping the ball ticking over through Cullen, and they're just waiting to pounce Everton, and that is exactly how the goal came.
Odegaard runs away from him and allows Branthwaite to get the challenge in as he goes to ground, and it goes out of play into the sunshine on that far side. Everton, incidentally, at half-time showed a video of the club marking their respects to their neighbours Liverpool ahead of the 35th anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster, with a floral tribute that took place ahead of the game, and their thoughts are with the family and friends of the 97 lives that were lost on that fateful day. I think they were actually in the Gladys Street end. Had it not been so windy, there was going to be a huge banner that would have been unfurled as well. They've always been class in that respect of Everton Football Club, as you would know as a former player, Izzy.
Absolutely, you know, huge amount of respect across the city for each other, and football isn't the most important thing.
But the wind, I think, took paid to that idea, because the banner was meant to be that big, so they had to shelve those plans. Everton still lead by a goal to nil. 5 minutes into the second half. Hibs 0, St Johnstone 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. We'll get news of that goal from Easter Road with Ailey Barber when we can. 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. 50 minutes played. Such an important game down at the bottom of the table. Everton have already dealt with a 6-point deduction. Could be facing further points to be taken off them at the start of next week. The Premier League said 8th of April was the latest date that it would be announced. So in that respect, 3 points here today, imperative, as Gomez to Mykolenko. Hits it downfield. Headed on by Calvert-Lewin, who climbed high. O'Shea with a back pass to Muric. Ball bobbled a little bit on the ground. Berger then will run it out of play, out towards that far side, out to safety and tied it up. In fact, there was an earlier foul. He tried to play the advantage, Michael Oliver, the referee, and then there wasn't one, and he's brought it back. Yeah,
Burnley living dangerously, and you can feel the Everton fans rising again. They're just urging the team on to pounce on that back pass, to just try and go and press, get Dominic Calvert-Lewin higher up. But Burnley are so good on the ball, comfortable at receiving.
Let's get news of that goal and at Easter Road. Ailey Barber.
Yeah, lengthy VAR check, Ian, but the goal now has been awarded. So St Johnstone lead here by that goal to nil. Adama Sidibe with great pace to run clear and showing great composure to knock it in. And it is significant for Hibs that, because they are losing, Dundee are winning. As things stand, Hibernian will not make the top 6. It is Hibs 0, St Johnstone 1.
Thank you, Ailey. Of course, tomorrow it's the Old Firm. 11:30 our coverage begins on 5 Live Sport. Rangers Celtic. Game kicks off at midday. Then we've got Manchester United Liverpool at 3:30, to be followed by Sheffield United Chelsea at 5:30. All those games are live on 5 Live Sport tomorrow. Forest Green 0, MK Dons 2 is a latest score. MK Dons then increasing their lead. Wrexham still drawing at Colchester. Mansfield losing at home to Crawley, and Stockport leading at Sutton as Everton are attacking. That's how the top of League Two looks at the moment. In this wind-affected game, what is the latest at Kenilworth Road early in the second half? Chris Coles.
Best moment of the game for Luton, still 0-0 with Bournemouth. Carlton Morris twice. Firstly, bursting into the box on the left, shot well saved by Neto. Second time round, better chance, slightly closer. Again Neto denying him with a good save to his right. Luton 0, Bournemouth 0.
I felt for a game of this magnitude, I honestly did think that the atmosphere would be better than it is.
I think there's nerves around the stadium, and there would be even more nerves and tension had Everton have not scored that goal in the first half, because Burnley have been playing the better team. They've looked the most likely to get into Everton's 18-yard box and create chances, but you can feel it now. They're bringing the noise up a little bit, Everton, and they're looking far more in control than they did in the first half.
That was as if the crowd had been on mute and somebody just come in and turned the volume control up inside Goodison Park.
Or they're all tuned into 5 Live as they're listening, as they're watching, sorry.
As the ball is hit forward, didn't last for long, that little bit of chanting from the Gladys Street away towards our left. 8 minutes into the second half. There has now been a goal at Luton. Chris Coles.
And the atmosphere at Kenilworth Road is flat, because Bournemouth have taken the lead, and what a good goal it is from Marcus Tavernier. He hit the post in the first half, similar range, 25 yards out. This time his left foot shot nestled beautifully in the far corner. Luton 0, Bournemouth 1.
Burnley are attacking. Brun Larsen with the cross, caught by Pickford. Bournemouth on a good run of form. They've won 4 of their 5 unbeaten, as McNeil runs straight into Esteve. Up it goes to Calvert-Lewin, offside. Flag will go up on that far side. Remains 1-0 to the home team.
Yeah, Esteve, the Burnley central defender, had to get that tackle spot on, and he did. Pickford just rolled the ball out into Dwight McNeil, he didn't even touch the ball, he just let the ball roll across his body. And Everton were on the counter-attack, and Esteve just came in and just sweeped up the ball and McNeil in the process.
That scoreline, though, from Kenilworth Road just reinforces and reiterates the importance of 3 points for the Everton cause today. They could move to 29 points. They'd then have a 7-point buffer between themselves and Luton. Everton would still have a game in hand, regardless of any points deduction that could come at the start of next week. So crucial that Everton do get these 3 points here today, with Luton losing.
Yeah, and you wonder if the noise inside Goodison Park will start to increase again if they get wind of that news.
Coventry Leeds United in the Championship. Charlie Slater.
Where Coventry have doubled the lead. Haji Wright from one end to another. The perfect counter-attack. A brilliant ball from Eccles, found right at the back post across the keeper. And as it stands, Leeds are on their way to a first defeat of 2024. Coventry 2, Leeds 0.
Yeah, they've been unbeaten in 15 in the Championship. First league defeat of the new year as Burnley trying to get in round the back as Pickford, the referee's blown his whistle anyway. Incidentally, Bristol Rovers 0, Bolton 1. Bolton third in League One. 6 away from home without a win. 4 points adrift of Derby, who next play on Wednesday. So Bolton have taken the lead there. And I think now maybe the crowd reaction is news of that Bournemouth goal at Luton.
Yeah, because they're not applauding Jordan Pickford just picking the ball up to take this free kick inside his own box. Yeah, they're applauding that result. It's all come through.
So Luton are behind. And Everton are leading. Could be a significant day in the fight for survival for Everton Football Club here as they look for their first win since mid-December. Back to Fulham, Henry Moran.
Fulham 0, Newcastle 0. Newcastle coming out of the blocks quickly in this second half. Anthony Gordon, the step over, the shot saved by a flying Leno. Fulham 0, Newcastle 0.
Gomez tidies up, back to Pickford. Pickford clears away downfield. That was Charlie Taylor who didn't quite get that right with the back pass to Muric. The ironic cheers as Muric passes it forward to Cullen. And then Everton went to press, and then as O'Shea collects the ball, they stopped pressing, and O'Shea was able to pick his spot forward, and Foster couldn't keep the ball in play. He complains that his shirt was being pulled. Vincent Kompany is apoplectic, and not for the first time this season down below. He was charged with misconduct after the Chelsea last week. What did he say about the standard of refereeing not being good enough? And he doesn't look impressed either today.
Yeah, Mikalenko did have a slice of Lyle Foster's shirt as he spun him on the half turn down the line. He was away. And the referee hasn't seen it, and I know it's easy for us to say up here, but this is now what are you made of, Burnley?
Branthwaite does well, guides the ball back under pressure to Pickford. In League Two, there's been a goal at Colchester, full stop.
And it is the home fans celebrating. Colchester 1, Wrexham 0, 9 minutes played in the second half. The ball fell to John Akinde on the edge of the area. A right-footed shot low into the bottom corner. Colchester 1, Wrexham 0.
Here is Berger. Berger can't get the shot. Good challenge coming in from Branthwaite again. MK Dons will move into an automatic promotion spot then as it stands. Wrexham, who lost away at Doncaster on Tuesday, behind there in Essex. MK Dons, who are fourth, still leading at Forest Green by 2-0. Burnley trailing here by 1-0. Crawley, incidentally, have got a third at Mansfield. So second place Mansfield, 3-0 down at home at Field Mill now. Mansfield 0, Crawley 3. This is the Premier League, 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. 58 minutes played. Everton lead by 1-0. Cullen to take the corner kick, headed out by Mikalenko for Everton. James Garner lifts it forward, head down, chasing after it is McNeil. Taylor with the back pass to Muric, and passes the ball forward, and Assignon, that was a poor touch by Assignon, gives it straight back to Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin in the area, Calvert-Lewin saved by the legs of Muric to keep out a certain second goal.
What a save that is from Muric. He makes up for his own error, playing out from the back, and I don't think you'll see a better save with your feet. Dom Calvert-Lewin has just given him the eyes. He looks to go across him and he tries to sneak it in the near post, and Muric was equal to it. He puts his foot down, he keeps Burnley in the game.
Well, that could have been a catalogue of errors as far as Burnley are concerned. They've already made one mistake as Assignon fires over the cross, and it was his mistake that was almost punished by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It remains Everton 1, Burnley 0. Another goal, Villa Park, Pat Murphy.
To Brentford, it's now 2-1. Villa didn't deal properly with the cross, and Zanka was there. A miss-hit, he shanked it from right foot to the left, wrong foot of the keeper. Sloppy goal in keeping with this match. But it's Villa 2, Brentford 1. Tony must be imminent surely for Brentford off the bench.
Mansfield 0, Crawley 4, latest score in League 2. Cardiff 1, Hull City 2, and to Hibs, Ailey Barber.
Where the home side are back level. Chris Cadden on the follow-up after a good save from Mayalida. He wasn't going to miss. He knocked it into the empty net, and it is Hibernian 1, St Johnstone 1.
Another goal, this time at Stoke City, Lee Blakeman.
2-0 to West Brom. Brandon Thomas Asante in from the left, put in a shot. Iverson saved it, and Jed Wallace followed up with the rebound. Stoke 0, West Brom 2.
West Brom looking to go unbeaten in 9 games. I'll rattle through all the scores and all the divisions with about 10-15 minutes remaining. We've been playing for half an hour here at Goodison Park. Aston Villa lead Brentford 2-1. Fulham 0, Newcastle 0. Luton 0, Bournemouth 1. Wolves still lead West Ham by a goal to 0. And Everton with Gomez switches play. He's picked out Ashley Young, far side the right. Young with a cross towards Dakari, far post on the stretch behind for a goal kick. Another goal at Villa Park, Pat Murphy.
Equaliser from Brentford. Rubbish defending again from Aston Villa. Mbuemo left there, 10 yards out. Fine right foot volley. Villa 2, Brentford 2.
Brentford, who themselves are still looking over their shoulders, you would think that they would be safe, but that would take them to 29 points, the same as Everton as it stands, with the way that they've just fought back there at Villa Park. Here is Branthwaite with a header over Fofana. Out of play, goes for a throw. Izzy Christiansen.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Muric is dinking that ball into the midfield. Fofana up against Branthwaite. There's a complete height mismatch, and Branthwaite has gobbled up that pass a couple of times in this game so far, and Burnley needed a change, and they're making one.
Coutinho is going to be coming on. Fofana is going off. Let's get an update from Maz at Molineux.
Well, West Ham still trail and an injury now for one of their big players. Jared Bowen went down with what looks like a left hip or lower back issue, and he's had to be withdrawn after some lengthy treatment. Bowen for Cresso. Antonio and Johnson are on in the second half as well for West Ham. Still Wolves 1, West Ham 0.
So Coutinho has come on for Fofana. Coutinho now is playing wide right of a front three, with Lyle Foster through the middle and Brune Larson to the left. That's how that he's just changed things around, has Vincent Kompany, looking for an equaliser. They've drawn their last 2 away from home, 2-2 at West Ham, and with 10 men, 2-2 at Chelsea. No other goals to tell you about elsewhere, but a change that Vincent Kompany, who turns 38 on Wednesday, your mate.
Vincent Kompany, wow.
Yeah.
Still so young.
Still so young. Aren't we all? That's where you're meant to come in and support me there, is he?
Well, you're looking very fresh after your trip to Ibiza, then.
As Brune Larson on the left, back towards Cullen, goes inside now to Odebear. Odebear corner possession by McNeil, and McNeil is away. The referee has played the advantage as McNeil goes forward. Odebear was back. McNeil holds on to the ball, passes it forward. Calvert-Lewin goes to ground. No challenge from O'Shea. The referee says no penalty.
Yeah, O'Shea's giving the signal to Dominic Calvert-Lewin to say get up. There wasn't contact. He did really well, O'Shea, just to get his body in the way. But excellent counter-attack from Everton, driving from the midfield. Dwight McNeil.
Burnley now are attacking. Assignon is sent forward. Burton 0, Oxford United 2. Carlisle, though, still trailing at Northampton, would be relegated today. Tranmere 1, Walsall 2. Cardiff 1, Hull 3. And a Queen's Park Rangers, John Akers.
Sheffield Wednesday have the lead. It's an extraordinary goal. Gassama with a lovely run. Defender goes to clear it, smashes it against Gassama's knee, and it goes in. Huge goal at the bottom. QPR 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
QPR have been going well of late. They'd only lost one of their last 8. Sheffield Wednesday without a win in 4, but leading just before the hour there in West London. Tarkowski volleys the ball forward. Decore shields this bouncing ball away from his man. The referee, though, says it'll be a free kick. He was offside. 63 minutes played. Everton still lead by a goal to 0. Back to Molineux, Maz Faruqi.
Well, Emerson has headed the ball into the back of the net for West Ham. He was wheeling away, celebrating what he thought was the equaliser. The goal has been scrapped, though, for a foul on Semedo in the area just before he connected with the ball. VAR have had a look. It was very soft, to be honest, but it has been disallowed, so it is still Wolves 1, West Ham 0.
Burnley still trailing. Cullen's forward ball headed away by Seamus Coleman. Calvert-Lewin, Gomez, forward ball. James Garner's made that run forward. McNeil also comes close towards him. Decore is making a run in towards the penalty area. Gomez gets a free kick. for Everton, 30 yards out from goal, still leading 1-0. Izzy.
Yeah, that's the quality that Andre Gomez provides from that midfield. He's just got that eye for a pass. He knows exactly when to release the ball, and he just released his midfield partner James Garner down the right hand side. They pick up the second ball, and then they've won themselves a free kick. But Gomez has been exceptional for Everton, bringing in that control and that element of creativity. It's exactly what they've been crying out for.
Andre Gomez, who'd made 4 successive substitute appearances before the start here today. Incidentally, the goal that Everton scored was the 300th Premier League goal for Sean Dyche, 249 for Burnley and 51 for Everton, and that landmark goal coming against his former club, and it could be such a precious goal, albeit one laced with good fortune. Gomez then for the free kick, under 30 yards out from goal. Everton are attacking the Gladys Street end, right-footed. Gomez goes for goal, off target, goal kick, 1-0.
Yeah, he's gone for the target. The position of the free kick doesn't really favour a right-footed delivery. I think it would have been a better option just to fizz the ball in, sort of swing it into an area where Everton's height advantage with Branthwaite and Tarkowski could dominate that first ball. But chance wasted for Everton.
The last we heard, third place Wrexham in League 2 were behind at Colchester. There's been another goal. Paul Scott.
They are not behind anymore. Colchester 1, Wrexham 1. Talking of landmark goals, Paul Mullin with his 100th in the red of Wrexham. Across from Ryan Barnett, headed home by Mullin. It's Colchester 1, Wrexham 1.
And if anything, Mansfield, with that shock 4-0 defeat or 4-0 loss at home to Crawley, are dropping out of the automatic promotion spots now. Wrexham climb a place and MK Dons are into third behind leaders Stockport County as it currently stands at the top of a very congested League 2 table. 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds here at Goodison Park. Commentary to come from Brighton against Arsenal at 5:30 after Sports Report. That was a mistake by O'Shea. Presented the ball, then dived in, and O'Shea has been sent off. Dara O'Shea has been dismissed for a lunge catching McNeil, trailing by a goal to nil. Would you believe he is the 7th Burnley player to be sent off in the Premier League this season, and their ill discipline costing them dear.
Yeah, what's happened is Burnley are just circulating the ball from the left over to this right hand side through the centre backs, and Dwight McNeil, who's playing left wing for Everton, has just jumped inside and he's got closer and closer to Dara O'Shea, and as O'Shea thinks he's got time to switch the ball out to his right back, that is when Dwight McNeil jumps. He pounces, he wins the ball, he takes a touch beyond O'Shea, and O'Shea's got no other option than to take him out, and it's a straight red card, and he knows it. You can see it on his face. He just takes a poor touch, and Dwight McNeil sniffs it out. It's high, it's a red card. Advantage again to Everton. Excellent pressing from the Blues.
David Coote, who is the VAR, he'll be looking at this at Stockley Park, is unlikely to change that decision, and indeed O'Shea has gone straight down the tunnel. Burnley are going to make a change as a result. Brownhill's coming on, trailing by a goal to nil. They're down to 10 men now, and another goal at Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
Another one to Brentford. They lead 3-2. Splendid counter-attack, cross from the left, turned in by Wieser. Villa 2, Brentford 3. 3 goals in 9 minutes for Brentford, and still no Ivan Toney off the bench.
Well, what a turnaround that is for Brentford. That would take them to 31 points, and you would think it would mean that they are all but there when it comes to safety. Brun Larsen is the player who's going to be sacrificed, and Brownhill comes on to replace the Danish international now that O'Shea has been sent off. We're midway through the second half. Burton 0, Oxford United 3 is a latest score in League One. And Burnley's problems just go from bad to worse for Vincent Kompany.
Yeah, the game was poised. Burnley have kept themselves in it by staying at 1-0 down, and I think that is a massive turning point again in favour of Everton. Burnley down to 10 now. It's a big task from here.
Well, they did salvage a point with 10 men at Chelsea last time out on their travels. They're going to have to dig deep once again against the Royal Blue of Everton on this occasion. any sign of a Luton Town fight back? Chris Coles.
Oh, they are fighting back okay, and they've just hit the post. They are well on top now. Carlton Morris found space in the area. His left foot shot, Neto stranded. It hit the post, bounced back into danger. The follow-up blocked. Still Luton 0, Bournemouth 1.
The reality is for Luton is that it's just 3 points out of a possible 30. Without a win in 10 Premier League games. Everton know all about such a barren spell, but they could end that here today. With 20 minutes remaining, still leading by a goal to nil. St Mirren 0, Hearts 2 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Cullen in the midfield for Burnley. Out to the far side for Taylor in front of their travelling support. The loyal support from East Lancashire, who only seen them win twice on the road so far, as a shot is flushed goalwards, and that wasn't too far away from Brownhill.
Yeah, Burnley worked the ball out to that left-hand side really well. Intricate passing, and I'm looking up, the crossing opportunities there, but they haven't got the numbers in the box to cross it. And what Brownhill's done is he's just cut inside and that top D of the box, and he's looked to shape one into the far corner beyond Pickford. He catches it really well, and it's dipping, and Pickford just stands there rooted to the floor, and he knows that was close.
If anything, that's a warning for Everton, that despite being down to 10 men, this game still hasn't been put to bed. Offside, so it'll be a free kick to Burnley. Where will we go next? It's a goal at Stoke City, Lee Blakeman.
Goal for Stoke at last. Stoke 1, West Brom 2. Million-man Hurth cutting in from the right foot shot. Beat goalkeeper Alex Palmer at his near post. Game on. Stoke 1, West Brom 2.
Still 1-0 to Everton. 19 minutes remaining in the earlier results. Crystal Palace 2, Manchester City 4, Norwich 1, Ipswich 0. Second place Leeds United, though, unable to take advantage, looking at their first defeat in the Championship of 2024. 2-0 down at Coventry City, who will look to close the gap to 4 behind Norwich in a playoff position. Leicester City being held by Birmingham as Muric comes out of his penalty area and holds on to it. In the Premier League, Aston Villa 2, Brentford 3, Fulham 0, Newcastle 0, Luton 0, Bournemouth 1, and another penalty at Molineux. Maz Faruqi.
This one's for West Ham. Lucas Paquetá just about to take this to level things up for West Ham. He's taking a long timer, long marauding run up, and eventually slots it just inside the right post. Jose Sal gets the right direction, couldn't keep it out. It was given as a handball off Max Kilman, and Emerson striking his arm in the area, the Wolves captain, and it is 1-1.
1-1 at Molineux. We've got European action to look forward to next week on 5 Live. Tuesday, Real Madrid against Manchester City. Thursday, Liverpool against Atalanta in the quarter-finals of the Europa League. Everton with Calvert-Lewin running forward. The Everton goal scorer gets a lucky break, enters the penalty area, still going Calvert-Lewin, and then flashes the shot left-footed off target into the Gladys Street for a goal kick. Everton still lead by a goal to nil. 17 minutes remain. Hull Huddersfield in the Rugby League. Richard Stead.
For the second time in a couple of weeks, Ian, Huddersfield have put 50-plus points on Hull. 2 second-half tries from Tui Lolohea, and at the moment it's a very one-sided scoreboard. Hull FC 16, Huddersfield Giants 52.
Dundee 2, Motherwell 0, Tranmere 1, Walsall 3. Our latest scores in the Scottish Premiership and League 2. After Sports Report, we've got commentary at the Amex. Brighton against Arsenal at 5:30. Team News, Conor McNamara.
And Arsenal can return to the top of the table with the win here. Roberto De Zerbi makes 5 changes to his Brighton team. Tarek Lamptey and Purvis Estupiñán are back at fullbacks. Julian Cisse starts, and Danny Welbeck too against his old club. Mikel Arteta made 5 changes for the win over Luton. 4 of them come back in for this one. Rice and Jorginho to the midfield. Gabriel Jesus and Saka to the attack.
Danny Gavidon with Connor at 5:30. Manchester City level on points with Liverpool at the top, 70 points. Liverpool still top due to their goal difference as Burnley forward. Here is Foster, edge of the D, threads the ball through. Cullen was almost there. Branthwaite was so alert. Superb defending by Branthwaite.
Oh, that last minute, 30 seconds to a minute of football. I urge you to watch back later on Match of the Day if it's on, because that was impressive from Dwight McNeil. He went and pressed every single Burnley player. Burnley actually played through it all, and they nearly got Josh Cullen in through on goal, one-on-one with Pickford, but it was Branthwaite's leg. He stretched it out, and he's lucky it didn't go into the back of his own net, but it's a Burnley corner.
Judging by the amount of chances that we've had, I would suggest that will make the edit for Match of the Day. Because they haven't really had much choice to fill the 10 minutes. Match of the Day tonight on BBC One. Corner kick for Burnley, looking for an equaliser. Headed out by Tarkowski, headed back by Assignon, headed further away by Tarkowski, and there's been a goal at Luton Town. Chris Coles.
Equaliser for Luton, thoroughly deserved. They have been very good in this second half. Not the prettiest of goals in terms of the build-up, but the finish was excellent. Jordan Clark just inside the area, rifled into the bottom corner. Kenilworth Road alive. Luton 1, Bournemouth 1.
It will still keep them in the relegation zone. Takes them to 23 points if it was to stay like that. Everton still lead by 1-0. St Mirren have got a goal back at home to Hearts. St Mirren 1, Hearts 2, Reading 0, Lincoln 1. Lincoln on a really good run of form, unbeaten in 12, of which they've won 10. They're leading again at Reading. Ball threaded through. Here is Calvert-Lewin. The angle is tight. Muric off his goal line with a smothering save. All of a sudden, Izzy, we could be in for a very exciting 15 minutes, I feel.
Yeah, it's really turned up the volume, and it was that bit of pressing from Dwight McNeil. He just took ownership and went off on one and just went and pressed everything, and it got the crowd off their feet, and it's just added or injected a whole new lease of life into this match.
The 10 men of Burnley are still fighting. Free kick goes in favour of Burnley. Didn't seem to be too much untoward of a challenge on Foster, did there?
Yeah, it's right in front of the linesman. Franthwaite's still complaining in front of him, but it's given Burnley a free kick. The fans are hating it. There's a free kick for Burnley in a fairly decent position to deliver, but I'm just looking at that Burnley squad and I'm thinking, you haven't got much of a threat inside the box. Perhaps work it short. Use your players, the ball players that you've got in the side, to work it. It looks like they're going to deliver.
It would certainly go down in the soft category, the award of a free kick for Burnley.
They may be due one though after midweek.
14 minutes to go to half time. Cullen to take it for the 10 men of Burnley. Right-footed, floated, headed back by Esteve. Taylor keeps it alive, hooked away by Young inside the area. Headed back by Assignon. Coleman's header forces Decore out wide, and he'll keep the ball in play, looking for James Garner. Assignon is there. Garner tries to win it back. Out then it goes for a Burnley throw over on that far side, the left. We've got just under 14 minutes remaining. Everton still lead by 1-0, 1-1 at Kenilworth Road, and when you're inside the last 15 minutes, that's Luton Town time. They've scored so many late goals as Burnley, after that sending off of O'Shea, with O'Taylor. Just made him Irish by calling him O'Taylor.
Oh no.
Very good. Touche, or O'Touche. Throw to Everton. Tell you what I'll do, I'll run through the latest scores. We'll start in the Scottish Premiership. In fact, no, before that, there's been a goal at Craven Cottage. It's no longer goalless. Henry Moran.
Fulham 0, Newcastle 1. They've been so poor for much of today, but Fabian Schär has somehow squeezed it in at the near post for his 5th of the season. Fulham 0, Newcastle 1.
Keeps alive their hopes of a place in European football for next season. Calvert-Lewin is pursuing this ball. Back it goes to Muric. Clears it first time after his horror show that led to the Everton goal. You might have nightmares about that. There is activity down the bench below. Harrison's going to be coming on for Everton. Foster makes the run over on that far side, the left for Burnley. Enters the penalty area, delivers a cross, comes off the outstretched leg of Gomez. Assignon has a swish of that over his right boot and didn't connect. And Pickford has it in his arms. In the Scottish Premiership, Dundee 2, Motherwell 0, Hibs 1, St Johnstone 1. Kilmarnock leads struggling Ross County by 1-0. Bottom of the table, Livingston 0, Aberdeen 0, St Mirren 1, Hearts 2. They're the latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Back to Luton. Chris Coles.
Luton 1, Bournemouth 1, but the temperature is rising in the Kenilworth Road sunshine, and tensions are rising too. Andoni Iraola, the Bournemouth manager, has just been yellow carded by referee Andy Madley. Iraola's been fuming since the Luton equaliser. I'm not sure why, but he's been booked for his troubles. Luton 1, Bournemouth 1.
Harrison's going to be coming on for Everton. Jay Rodriguez looks like he's going to be coming on as well for Burnley. He's getting his final instructions. The veteran forward, Decore, will be the player who's going to be coming off for Harrison. In fact, it looks like it's going to be a double change. Beto is also going to be coming on for Everton, who still have a slender lead here with 11 minutes remaining of normal time. Berger at the back for Burnley, to Muric. Out it goes to Esteve. Berger is the player who's now filling in the absence of the dismissed Dara O'Shea. Taylor lifts it forward. Foster loses out in the challenge. Gomez picks up the loose ball along the ground, finds Calvert-Lewin. Young on the overlap, McNeil with him. Calvert-Lewin drifts into a central area. Burnley had a number of men back, not much width for Everton. Goes to McNeil, who shoots left-footed, and it goes out for a goal kick. 1-0 to Burnley. Izzy Christiansen.
Yeah, Calvert-Lewin just finding himself in loads of space on the right-hand side of Burnley's 18-yard box. He passes it to McNeil, and he doesn't really have any other options, Dwight McNeil. So he just lets fire. We know he can find the net from there. He just cuts inside onto his left foot. No pressure on him. He looks to shape it beyond Muric. It's gone way over the bar.
There's going to be a double change for Everton and a triple change being made for Burnley. Goal at Villa Park, Pat Murphy.
Equaliser for Aston Villa from Ollie Watkins, made by Bailey. Right foot cross deflector and a towering header from Watkins, beating the keeper. His 18th of the season in the league. Villa 3, Brentford 3.
Straight to Stoke, penalty, Lee Blakeman.
And Stoke have scored it. It's 2-2. Vidigal with the penalty, initially saved, followed in with the rebound into the roof of the net, and from 2 down, it's Stoke 2, West Brom 2.
The two fullbacks are going to be coming off for Burnley. It'll be Rodriguez replacing Assignon. Taylor's going to come off as well. Goodmanson is the other player who's going to be coming on as activity down below. Everton, meanwhile, with a cross from the right-hand side by Young, cleared by Assignon. And I'm hearing, Henry, that goal has been ruled out.
It has. Everyone was ready to go once again, and suddenly referee Sam Allison was told in his ear, have a look and see if this is a foul. Dan Burn against his former club, adjudged to have fouled Calvin Bassey. We're back to 0-0. Fulham 0, Newcastle 0.
Coventry were leading Leeds United 2-0. There's been a goal. Charlie Slater.
And Leeds are back in this one with 14 minutes remaining. Coventry 2, Leeds 1. Jorginho Rutter somehow manages to keep the ball alive 6 yards out, shuffles it over to the substitute Joel Piroux, who scores from around 6 yards out. Leeds not out of this yet. Coventry 2, Leeds 1.
Still, the 5 changes are yet to be made. Goal at Fratton Park, Flo Pollock.
Portsmouth 3, Shrewsbury 1. Colby Bishop with his 20th league goal of the season. Pompey have had all the pressure, and the pressure has paid. Colby Bishop with the volley. Portsmouth 3, Shrewsbury 1.
Dundee 2, Motherwell 1. Hibs 1, St Johnstone 2. Our latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Everton still lead by 1-0. We've got 8 minutes remaining of normal time. Here come the changes. So Rodriguez will replace Assignon. Goodmanson will come on for Odebear. Amdouni to replace Taylor. They're the Burnley changes, and the Everton changes will be Beto's going to replace Calvert-Lewin after going, an 18-game goalless run in the Premier League, 2-2. His penalty against Newcastle and a rather fortuitous goal here today. And then the other change is Decore coming off for Harrison. So we've tidied up those. Izzy Christiansen.
Yeah, just like for like, if you like, for Everton, just resting the legs of Ashley Young and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's putting an outstanding shift in today for his team. And just Jack Harrison coming in just to solidify that right-hand side in front of Seamus Coleman, who we've not even mentioned in the second half. He's not got forward as much, and then Beto coming on just to provide that option for Everton down the channels, pinning the Burnley centre-backs, see if they can get up the pitch. And then Burnley obviously have to go for it now, chuck the kitchen sink at it, as they say. Rodriguez coming on, probably a change of approach from Vincent Kompany's team. They're going to have to get the ball into Everton's box somehow.
7 minutes remain of normal time. Mansfield have got what will be a consolation. Mansfield 1, Crawley Town 4. They're dropping out of the automatic places in League 2. These are the latest scores in League 2. Wimbledon 1, Salford 0. Accrington 0, Crewe 0. Barrow 0, Swindon 2. Bradford City still lead Gillingham by 1-0. Colchester 1, Wrexham 1. Forest Green 0, MK Dons 2. Grimsby 1, Newport 0. Mansfield 1, Crawley 4. Morecambe 0, Doncaster 2. Notts County 2, Harrogate 0. Notts County, that could be their first home win in 2024. Sutton 1, Stockport County the leaders 3, Tranmere 1, Walsall 3. Goal at Craven Cottage, Hayden Moran.
And Newcastle do now have the lead, stung into action by the perceived injustice as the disallowed goal. Bruno Guimaraes running in to follow up, smashing into the bottom corner. Fulham 0, Newcastle 1.
And a goal at Molineux, Maz Faruqi.
They've turned it around. West Ham now lead. This goal came straight from a James Ward-Prowse corner. It kind of swerved its way back in past Joe Cesar, just inside the right-hand corner post. So West Ham now lead after trailing. Wolves 1, West Ham 2.
McNeil forward for Everton, sends over a cross from the left. Well cleared by Esteve under pressure. 6 yards out for his own goal, out for an Everton throw far side the right.
Yeah, Dwight McNeil just fed down the channel. He run onto the ball, and then he looked for that early cross inside the box, and Esteve has been absolutely outstanding at the back for Burnley. He's had a really good game, and another excellent clearance there just to deny Beto that if he got his foot on that, it would have been perhaps his first touch of the game.
Yeah, Motherwell have got an equaliser at Dundee. Dundee 2, Motherwell 2, Middlesbrough 2, Swansea City 0. Ball in from the right hand side. McNeil couldn't control it, picked up by Muric. These are the latest scores in League One then. Blackpool still lead Cambridge by a goal to 0. Bolton 0, third place Bolton Wanderers 1, Burton 0, Oxford United 4, Charlton 2, Barnsley 1. Charlton looking to extend their unbeaten run to 11. Exeter leads Stevenage by a goal to 0. Leyton Orient 2, Cheltenham 0, Northampton 1, Carlisle United 0. Carlisle United will be relegated. Portsmouth 3, Shrewsbury 1, Reading 0, Lincoln 1, Wigan 0, Port Vale 0 are the other latest scores. We have under 5 minutes remaining, and Everton still lead by a goal to 0. Let's get an update from Northampton, Mark Webber.
Yes, Northampton 1, Carlisle United 0. The City and Lakes have 6 minutes to swim against the tide and save their League One status. They're not shown much endeavour then, I have to say. It's still 1-0 to Northampton.
That's a man very much in the flow. Reading have equalised at home to Lincoln. Reading 1, Lincoln 1. As Burnley down to 10 men after that. O'Shea sending off midway through the second half. Pass the ball back to Muric. Muric, short forward ball. Brownhill is there to take it off him. Berger. Everton with Decore. So Decore didn't leave the field then, did he? And,
Ashley Young went off.
It was Ashley Young who'd gone off. The little app that we get had told us that it was going to be Decore as he slides into that challenge and has done, I was going to say, done exceptionally well, and he's adjudged to have fouled Esteve. That was a strange decision.
I think Esteve has done really well again against Beto. The ball's just fed into the channel and it's a foot race between the two of them. Beto tries to get his body in, shoulder barge Esteve, and I think the positioning of Esteve just means that he gets to the ball first. He does, and Beto catches him.
On that far side, Coleman up to Beto, tries to lay it off towards Gomez. Gomez now in the centre circle, forward ball, he releases Beto. Beto is away, Beto goes to ground. Referee Michael Oliver has a look at it and says nothing.
Yeah, I think he's looking for it. The crowd don't think so though. They've gone mad. They think it's a penalty, but I'm just watching the replay and the first glance in real time, I think it was really good defending. Beto is looking for that. He takes the touch across. I think it's Esteve's body. It's not a penalty for me.
He lumbered his way towards goal, didn't he?
Yeah.
He never felt that he was going to go clear at any point and get the shot away. And the outcry of that just gives you another indication of the nerves, because Everton are edging closer to 3 valuable points elsewhere in the Premier League. Aston Villa 3, Brentford 3, Fulham 0, Newcastle 1, Luton 1, Bournemouth 1, Wolves 1, West Ham United 2. Let's get another update from Ailey at Easter Road.
Where St Johnstone have gone back in front. They lead by 2 goals to 1. Tony Gallagher with his first ever goal in senior football, knocking in from a corner kick. Vital for St Johnstone in their bid to avoid the playoff place at the bottom of the table. It is Hibernian 1, St Johnstone 2.
2 minutes remain of normal time. Burnley have got a free kick almost on the halfway line. Muric to take it, goes out towards that far side, volleyed away by Beto. It was Colchester 1, Wrexham 1. There's been a goal. Paul Scott.
It is now Colchester 1, Wrexham 2. The Welsh side side, coming from behind to take the lead. A long throw from the left-hand side, headed in by Max Cleworth, glancing into the far bottom corner. Colchester 1, Wrexham 2.
So the leaders Stockport, third place Wrexham and fourth place MK Dons all winning. Second place Mansfield losing heavily at home. As we have 60 seconds remain. There's been a goal at Leicester City, Aaron Paul.
Leicester potentially won it. The subs are on the pitch. Gorgeous ball from Yunus Achin, and at the back post it was Steffi Mavadini with the downward header. They've huffed, they've puffed, they've blown the Birmingham house down. Leicester 2, Birmingham 1.
Remember earlier, Ipswich Town lost in the East Anglian derby at Carrow Road. Norwich 1, Ipswich Town 0. These are the latest scores elsewhere in the Championship, as that scoreline as it stands will take Leicester top. Blackburn 0, Southampton 0, Cardiff 1, Hull 3. Coventry City still lead Leeds United by 2-1. Huddersfield 0, Millwall 0. Leicester 2, Birmingham 1. Middlesbrough 2, Swansea 0. QPR 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. And that would actually take them level with Birmingham City on 42 points. Stoke 2, West Brom 2, Sunderland 0, Bristol City 0. Watford and Preston remains goalless at Vicarage Road. No other goals elsewhere. We're about to find out how much added on time there will be. And this is still tight.
Yeah, and Beto, you know what, he's just come on and he's causing all sorts of problems to Burnley. He's just getting his body in, he's just protecting the ball, he's causing mayhem up there, and he's just disrupting the flow of the game. And that's exactly what Everton need to do at the moment. They're just getting up the park, teasing Burnley into playing out again, and then they're going to try and nick it. What have Burnley got left in them?
5 minutes of added on time. We will find out now in those subsequent minimum 5 minutes to be added on, as Cullen floats the ball forward off the chest for Mikolenko, closed down by Rodriguez, balloons up in the air, headed away by Branthwaite. Handball, free kick to Everton. Leyton Orient 3, Cheltenham 0 is the latest score in League One. Hasn't been pretty, but it's all one of those occasions when it's all about the result for Everton.
100%. It really hasn't. I mean, some of the football that Burnley have played in the first half was pretty, but Everton have been in this situation so many times where they haven't necessarily been the better team, but they've been the better team making better decisions when it really matters, and they've just been really pragmatic about their approach, just pushing Burnley back into areas where they're uncomfortable.
Their worst run of form for 67 years is about to be banished, and it couldn't have come at a better time, as Sean Dyche extremely animated in that technical area, as Burnley with Coutinho with a back pass to Muric, has to go long. Branthwaite doesn't misjudge that. I think the wind probably didn't help him out. Here is Rodriguez, passes the ball out now towards that far side. Goodmanson stands over the cross, headed away by Mikolenko. Cullen keeps it alive for Burnley. Here is Brownhill. Berger joins the attack. The 10 men still fighting here for Burnley, but Everton trying to keep them at bay from their penalty area. Berger forward, Amdouni, challenge from Decore. Still they lose the ball and Burnley win it back. Amdouni, Decore again breaks it up, and a break is on now for Everton. Decore running forward, it's 2 against 2. He finds Beto. Beto forced a fraction out wide, edge of the area. Beto enters the penalty area, challenge comes in, ball runs behind for a corner, and there's been a late goal at Luton Town. Chris Cole.
How big could this be for Luton? They may have won it in the last minute of normal time. Carlton Morris just underneath the crossbar to poke in across into the corner. What a huge moment this could be for Luton. They lead Bournemouth by 2-1 into stoppage time.
They are absolutely incredible, the way that they're always able to get late goals. So Luton have come from behind and lead Bournemouth by 2-1. Corner taken short for Everton. Decore plays it in towards the penalty area. Here is James Garner, goes to ground inside the area, shot fired in from Harrison, blocked. He's actually stayed down as Garner. Referee though, Michael Oliver, looked like he had a good view of that. That wouldn't be sufficient to take them out of the relegation zone, incidentally. They would move level with Nottingham Forest on 25 points. Forest would stay out of the relegation zone because of their superior goal difference. The deadlock has been broken at Huddersfield. Katie Smith.
And it could be a huge goal in the 94th minute. Huddersfield Town 1, Millwall 0. The corner from the right hand side. The home side have been pushing. The initial header saved, and then Healy, the substitute, putting it in the back of the net. Huddersfield Town 1, Millwall 0.
We have 90 seconds remaining of added on time. Everton still lead by 1-0. Izzy Christiansen.
What Sean Dyche asks of his wide players, Dwight McNeil, Ashley Young, and then Jack Harrison, who's come on for Ashley Young, is such a big ask. Lots of running, and Dwight McNeil has been absolutely superb for Everton. Burnley have got a free kick.
Muric goes long for Burnley. Out it goes to that far side. Goodmanson in front of the travelling support. Can he work over the cross? By my watch, we're entering the last 60 seconds of the minimum 5 to be added on. Ball played out by Vitinho towards Goodmanson once again on the left. Goodmanson with a cross in over everybody's heads. Berger, right hand side of the penalty area. Cullen makes the run forward, not utilised. Berger waits. Berger looks for the cross, blocked. Comes out to Vitinho, lifts it in first time, deep into the penalty area. Headed behind by James Garner. I don't think he got the shout. Corner kick to Burnley.
No, it was a nervous header by the captain, Seamus Coleman. He's just communicating to Jordan Pickford and the players around him to say, give me a shout, lads, because he's just conceded a corner completely unnecessarily. Burnley are going to swing it in.
So it's a corner kick far side the left. 15 seconds remain. Goodmanson with the outswinging corner. Tarkowski meets it and then volleys the ball before it can hit the ground from his own header. And James Garner is in pursuit. And the ball then is played forward. It kept alive by Goodmanson. In play over on that far side. Goodmanson's cross from the left. Headed away by Branthwaite once again. Harrison nicks it away from Esteve. Vincent Kompany just tried to push Harrison away. Sean Dyche is close. The referee blows the whistle. And Everton's worst run of form in 67 years has finally come to an end. A fortuitous goal on the stroke of half-time gives them 3 precious points, Izzy Christiansen.
Absolutely massive. 3 points for whoever won this game. And it's Everton. You can see the Burnley players on the floor. They're dead on their knees. They put in so much into that last 15 minutes with 10 men, but it just wasn't enough. And Everton are just clinging on. A huge 3 points for them.
An enormous result for Everton. Elsewhere, Carlisle relegated. They've conceded a second. Northampton 2, Carlisle 0. But down at the bottom of the table at Goodison Park, Everton 1, Burnley 0.